I look at the main karmic mistake that's calculated for a specific formula. And that is usually something that was responsible for your death in previous incarnation. And it's super important to analyze that and understand that energy because you can't be making the same mistake twice. Otherwise, you will get into this karmic loop that you will incarnate in the same energy over and over again until you learn your lesson. It's like playing video games. You have several levels and you have to go through the level if you want to level up. So you have to master the energy. So if you're making the same mistakes, first of all, you'll be incarnating again in the same energies, which can be boring and feel, also on a soul level, even if you don't remember, your previous lives, it just feels like, you're dragging something, with you that is not yours or is heavy.
Hey, beautiful soul, I'm Hayden Crawford, your host and soul guide here at the Dreamtime Academy, a cosmic mystery school for starseeds and truth seekers, just like you, who are looking at rediscovering your inner wisdom for a life of more freedom, joy, and purpose. Now, before we dive into today's episode, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to this channel and click the bell for future notifications so that you never miss one of my podcast episodes of either the Numerology Show or Cosmic Conversations, or indeed some of my transmissions, which will help to activate the next layer of your spiritual awakening. I'm the author of the Starseed Ascension Guide and the Cosmic Family Oracle cards, both designed to help you to reconnect to your higher self and remember who you truly are. If you want to dive deeper, we have an online membership portal called the Oversoul Codex Collective, where you can join a like-minded group of starseeds from all across the planet as you delve into courses in numerology, colour therapy, and cosmic consciousness as well. You can also support this channel by becoming a member, either as a soul spark or a codex keeper. If you're feeling the call to join us together in person, then we also host consciousness expanding retreats in Perth, where you can really start to experience this incredibly immersive work within community environment. Once again, your support really helps this channel to grow. So thank you for joining this team of galactic lightworkers from all across the planet, helping to expand consciousness and bring light into the darkness. Okay, so welcome to the Numerology Show with Hayden Crawford, where numbers aren't just digits, they're the secret language of your soul. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Diana from Diana No Excuses, TikTok's numerology sensation, as we dive deep into how numbers shape our personalities, relationships, and life journeys. We'll uncover everything from karmic lessons and life path surprises to quirky quirks only numbers can explain. Get ready for some fun, surprising, and sometimes downright mystical insights into why numbers matter more than you think. So welcome, Diana. It's lovely to see you here with me today.
Thank you so much, Hayden, for having me. I'm really excited to be part of your show and yeah, share whatever I can share.
Oh, thank you. Well, you're very welcome. So I guess my first question to you would be, how has TikTok shaped your numerology abilities with the people that you share your wisdom with?
Now, definitely, this has been a big part of the journey for myself to feel more confident also sharing because there is such a big response from people, and it started as a fun game when I kind of my first TikTok was in August about numerology, and I just asked people, tell me your date of birth, and I'll tell you what I see purely from numbers. And it was such a hit because people were just, really light about it and fun. But it turned out like, surprisingly accurate when I was doing the readings. And yeah, my following has grown, and I did not expect this, to grow so fast. And it was never even the aim was just to share what I found useful for myself in my journey of self-discoveries. And I'm surprised to see that it has helped so many people. And obviously that encourages me to move forward with this.
So, Diana, who were you before you found numerology?
Oh, that's a fun story. I I mean, numbers have always been a big part of me, because I graduated the equivalent of grammar school with the emphasis on numbers, on math and sciences. So it has always been like right from the childhood, my kind of passion. But I never expected, to end up here, in a good sense. But yeah, I was a tech girl. I worked for Facebook, for Snapchat. I moved to London because of it, and it has given me so much in terms of network and understanding. And again, I worked with numbers there as well, like in sales and marketing. But yeah, I think my every step that I took has always been leading me to this. Because I had severe burnouts, and now I see in retrospect that I wasn't going, in the direction that I was supposed to. I was never meant to stay there in the corporate world or in tech world. So yeah, it's quite funny to explain my ex-colleagues what I'm doing now, because obviously that's a different world. And yeah, but I'm happy to see that more and more people are actually into numerology and astrology, and they're more open than before. Because some years ago, it would feel like, oh, you're some kind of, doing some kind of voodoo, and you're like, you don't have anything better to do, I guess, in life.
I love
Now
that.
people are more kind of taking this seriously.
They are
Yeah.
taking it seriously because it genuinely does help. Over the years that I've been doing numerology myself, I've noticed that it's quite life-changing, especially when you understand what your soul purpose is and your strengths and weaknesses. And, it can tell you the best times to embark on new projects and ventures and everything, who you're becoming, who you truly are. That's it creates massive shifts in your consciousness and it's very motivational, but it is quite a big responsibility to be a numerologist, isn't it? Because if you don't want to like feed people false information. I'm a bit like you. I'm from a
Definitely.
corporate background and I never thought that I would end up doing this type of work in a million years. It was just something that sort of evolved over a period of time. Um, so, how did the people around you react to, you becoming you? And why do you call yourself Diana No Excuses?
Yeah, so I'll start with the latter. I've always been driven. I'm a Capricorn, so I've always kind of set goals for myself, and also I'm an eight. So that's also like kind of, exploring the material world to the fullest and kind of aiming high. So when I had my first baby, I made a promise to myself that it's not going to be an excuse to stay at home or to shy away from social activities or even for my kind of physical state. So I would end up in a gym like most of the time. So I was really working hard on myself, and kind of I thought it was important back then. But it kind of gave me this nickname, Diana No Excuses. And it was like I lived that in different areas of my life, that nickname, and it kind of stuck, and I kind of like it still because yeah, whenever I think to myself that I have excuses to not do something or not meet someone, I remember who I am that way. And yeah, it's always a fun icebreaker to start a conversation with people, and yeah.
I love that. That's brilliant. Yeah. So it's and then of course the people around you then when you started really going into it. I mean, obviously you've mentioned you were in the corporate world.
Yeah.
And so did you lose any friends or did you find that people j just really went, oh, well, Diana, just be happy, just do you?
I mean, there was a time where I was kind of isolated, but I think I took that pause for myself because I needed to figure out things for myself. And, numbers came to me as answers for myself to grow and to kind of understand myself better. And then when I started my channel, it inspired me to share more and more when I saw the growth of my following, and also the genuine messages that I receive on a daily basis from people in my DMs. And when I do readings privately, I also see that, the reactions and the love that I get, in return. I really, really kind of authentically feel that this is my purpose now. And when I am passionate about something authentically, I think that that translates in my energy, and people who are my people, they understand it, and they support me, and they are happy for me. And usually the reaction is like, "Oh, I'm so happy that something that you love doing actually can support you." Because it comes as a surprise to people that you can actually do something that you love and support yourself. Because obviously, especially in corporate world, that's often the case when you don't necessarily love what you do for living, and then you come to a certain point in your life when you start questioning, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I happy in what I'm doing?
Mm, I get that. That's exactly what I went through. I was miserable. I was doing really well, but yeah, it just felt meaningless to me. So what was your
Yeah.
biggest aha moment that you had with numerology?
I think just looking at my journey and kind of seeing that, oh, this makes so much sense. Now I understand. Like when I started digging deeper for karmic numerology, which is different, it's deeper, and it gives you answers also about your previous incarnations. And my biggest aha moment was when I saw Warrior's Code, it's a karmic tale from my previous life, and that explained why I cried myself to sleep as a kid, 5 years old, thinking about wars and how come people can actually kill each other. And I cried myself to sleep with these thoughts. At 5 years old, you don't, question these things. You dream about unicorns as a girl. And for me, it was that. And now I understand. It's like, okay, that's my warrior code. I must have been in war, or something like tragical happened, and that's why kind of I had that feeling, that heavy feeling, and those emotions. So, and there were like many moments like that, but I guess that one was the biggest one.
Oh, brilliant. So how does that actually show up then as the warrior code? What number specifically relates to that in karmic numerology?
So there are 26 codes in general. And yeah, those show up in your karmic star. And different numbers represent different areas of life. So this is why I love karmic numerology, because it doesn't kind of look only at nine numbers in classical. I do respect the classical way as well, because it has a place. And I think that every teaching is a little piece of a puzzle that you put together, and the more pieces you get together, the clearer the picture becomes. And so there are different numbers for different areas of life, and then every area of life also shows you your karmic mistake from previous lifetime, something that you didn't quite manage to understand, and that translates through numbers. And also these karmic tales, they not everybody has them. Some people have one, some people don't have any, and some people have five. Depends how many incarnations you've had, and also depends like what experiences you went through. So these karmic tales, they show up in different areas of life, and this is how you can denote, like, oh, this is why my relationship is like this, in this incarnation. Maybe you have like a lonely woman code, something that was in previous incarnation where you chose for yourself to stay alone, and that's why this lonely feeling still lingers in your auric field, and that's important to kind of go through. I will not be saying all of the combinations, but usually these are three numbers, combination of three numbers that shows a specific karmic tale. And then it's kind of, yeah, easier to understand why things are the way they are in your current incarnation.
Wonderful. So where are those numbers derived from? Are they from your name or from your date of birth?
Date of birth, yeah, date of birth. And yeah, so basically your day shows you your personality up until the age of 25, more or less. And this is the kind of, energy that you're supposed to master until this age, because then you tap into your life path number, which is mainly responsible for your relationship, how you show up for other people, how other people see you, how you portray yourself, and how you are with different people, not only romantically, but in general. But again, like you are supposed to go through different energies at certain, periods of time. So that's why I love karmic numerology, that it doesn't label you just with one number or two numbers, and with no option to change that. So every number has good and bad scenarios. So you can tap into the ones that you prefer if you know what those are. And then also you can avoid the ones that you don't want to be your reality, right? Again, by knowing what those are.
So for you, then you have this warrior code. So can you remember, do you have soul memories of that warrior lifetime? Was it a Roman soldier or was it on a different timeline?
Um, I'm always curious about past life regression hypnosis. This is something that is in my bucket list. I want to do that to see precisely what happened, But I'm also life path 33, which means master number. And that means that I've had quite a bit of incarnations. And that's why, again, that explains why I resonate to so many languages, to so many places that I've never been. Like when I was a kid, I was in ballroom dancing, and I've always loved Argentine tango and samba, which is Brazilian. And like I would literally tap the rhythms with my hands, not knowing anything about music, but that was something that always spoke to me. And I've never been to Brazil, still haven't, but that speaks to me. And I always attract people from Brazil, like wherever I go, even growing up in Latvia, which is a small country. I always have had so many diverse friends. And I think I attract that with my energy. And that explains now to me, like, why is this like that? Because, yeah, I haven't had the experience of seeing precisely, my previous lifetimes, but through numbers and through different synchronicities, people that I meet also, like I can resonate to different things, and I am able to kind of piece these, things together.
Yeah, so you're a life path 33. And did you say a day number eight?
Sorry?
What was your day number? Did you say an eight? You're a day number eight.
Yeah, it's 17 to be
Oh,
precise. So 17th of January. So my birthday's coming up soon. And yeah, 17 is a specific energy of eight. So every kind of number, 17, 8, and 26 is a little bit different. So in the basis of it, in karmic numerology, you would have that eight energy. And on top of it, with 17 and 26, you would have additional energies and focuses and talents. So 17 is a star energy. So basically, you have eight energy in the basis of it, but also you have that craving to express yourself creatively. And that has always been my case early on in childhood. And so many things resonated that I couldn't contain myself. Like I would draw, I would do music, I would do so many different things that my parents, they didn't know what to do with me. Like, can you pick one thing, And it looked crazy to them that so many hobbies interest me and so many things resonate. Again, now I understand, being life path 33, that it makes sense because most probably previously I've done it all. And that's why kind of it's easy for me to pick up things. Yeah, so this is, I guess, the main thing that um, makes sense to me now. But it was really difficult growing up to kind of, be understood or be, taken seriously.
100%. So I noticed on your TikTok channel that you do go into compound numbers quite a lot, so you decode these. So obviously you've mentioned the 17 as being part of the karmic numerology sequence that's different from like a 26/8, for example.
Yeah.
So can you explain different, sort of compound numbers? Maybe if we start with like if you're a life path number nine, like me, I'm a 27 9.
Yeah.
So how does that change or deepen the energy of the single digit number that it reduces to?
Yeah, definitely. There are additional energies. So, on top of that basic nine energy, which is already quite deep and spiritual, you get additional energies like two and seven in this case. So, two is all about collaboration, communication, being part of two, right? Like you always would need and feel more comfortable being in a pair with someone. It can be either in your personal life or professionally. So that will show up in these kind of small things. Seven energy is all about intellect. It's also about like intellectual pursuits, like you would study things deeply. If you start to study something, you can't be superficial about it. You need to go really deep and dig deep for it. So you will not rest until you learn this completely. And then with seven energy, it's also moving forward. It's a fast-paced energy. You want to move. You can't sit still. You can't be lazy. And combining that too, that helps to master that nine energy. That pure nine energy would be really comfortable alone, right? So, and when you get that 27, that two energy will not let you stay alone. It will always try and find someone to share your thoughts, to share yourself with, you know. And this is how it's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on for me. What about a 36 9 then? So how would that be different?
Well, in karmic numerology, you have 22 archetypes, basically. So everything that is more than 22 reduces to either a single digit number or less than 22. So 36 is not different from 9 in this case. But you do take into account the dates, like because we are born until the 31st, right? So this is something that you would decode, especially if it's the day that you were born, like, you know. So if it's a life path number, then you would only look at the numbers from 1 to 22, and then exceptions are master numbers, 33 in this case.
Got it. Okay. So number ones are often seen as being leaders, or way showers, aren't they? But what are the hidden challenges that they face?
Yeah, as I said, like there are good scenarios and bad scenarios, and I always kind of go through both when I explain these things to my clients and followers. That no number is good or bad, or it's not like some number is better than the other. It's just different focus. So for one energy, it's usually the material world. It's the first energy of nine numbers or 22 numbers. So you come here to explore the material world, and with that you need those leadership qualities. The hidden challenges would be to not be controlling, not try to see as like I can do everything better, you know, try and let other people in, to help you or to share your you know, knowledge and interest in life. So ones can be easily alone, like they feel comfortable being alone. They don't need the other person like a tune, you know. They feel comfortable, but with that also sometimes comes the pride, and yeah. So if you're careful with that and you know that those are your challenges, you can avoid those or work on those. Um, and also, again, like no one number is the same, you know, like 1, 10, and 19, those are a little bit different. And I think one hidden talent with one is creativity. And it's quite often overlooked because usually people focus on the leadership qualities. My dad is a one, and he designed all my dresses when I was in ballroom dancing, and that was beautiful. He showed me his different side of this one energy. He's such a leader at home, at work, but with those clothes and fashion sense, that was something surprising to me. And that's, I think, one of the best examples that I've seen in, you know, one energy to be creative.
I love that. That's amazing. So where does the creativity come from then within a one? Like, why is it creative?
It's because again, they are not supposed to focus only on material, world. Like they are supposed to explore it and use, their talents in store. But at the same time, they are not supposed to fixate only on that. That's why this creativity is like it's a hidden superpower. Basically, if you incorporate that creativity in your leadership skills, you can achieve really great heights in life, in career and in personal life.
So with the other forms of one, like the 10 and the 19, how do they differ then from a pure one?
So 10 energy, like that zero, will always amplify your main energy. So if you are living your good scenarios, if you're tapping into the good scenarios, that zero energy will amplify that. And again, if you're living the negative scenarios, trying to control everything and everyone, that zero will amplify that. So you will become really, really, really controlling and micromanager. Also 10 energy in karmic numerology is fortune wheel, relying on your intuition, relying on the universe, that it always has your back. And if you do that, in return, universe will provide you with different opportunities and lucky coincidences that unfold a chain of events, a lucky chain of events. The 19 energy is combining that material side because one is material energy and nine is spiritual. So if you combine those in harmony, then you get the support of universe because 1 plus 9 is also 10. So this is how it works. Like on top of those kind of, basic energies, you always build up with a bigger number.
Yeah, it's interesting because I believe that there is a karmic association with the number 19, and it actually means that you would have abused your power in a previous or parallel incarnation. In your form of karmic numerology, does the 19 also mean that?
Not just that number. Again, if it's a karmic tale, in a negative scenario, if you have that 19 energy as a marker that shows that that was your problem in personality or in business, that will mean that. That means that you use this energy in a negative scenario, meaning that you did not combine that material and spiritual knowledge, but were purely focused on the material things in life and kind of, abused your power, as you said, because that's in karmic numerology, 19 energy is the sun. So in a good scenario, you shine your knowledge, you shine your light on other people, and you are warm and you are like, exuding that love and light. In a negative scenario, you are someone super arrogant as well. Like, don't fly too close to the sun, that kind of thing, you'll get burned. So
That's
again, like, yeah,
I love that. No, that's really interesting, isn't it? How that we have to look at the whole picture. You can't just look at the reduced number,
yeah.
or you've got to look at the compound energy and any karmic associations. Is there anything else that you look at when you're looking at numbers? What else do you bring
Yeah.
into it?
I look at the main karmic mistake that's calculated for a specific formula. And that is usually something that was responsible for your death in previous incarnation. And it's super important to analyze that and understand that energy because you can't be making the same mistake twice. Otherwise, you will get into this karmic loop that you will incarnate in the same energy over and over again until you learn your lesson. It's like playing video games. You have several levels and you have to go through the level if you want to level up. So you have to master the energy. So if you're making the same mistakes, first of all, you'll be incarnating again in the same energies, which can be boring and feel, also on a soul level, even if you don't remember, your previous lives, it just feels like, you're dragging something, with you that is not yours or is heavy. And also, it's just every time you will get like, I think, heavier experiences because of that, because you are supposed to learn quite quickly. And if you are just making the same mistake over and over again, it's like every time the lessons are going to be harsher for you to kind of, clock it.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're talking about. So, how do you calculate that number? And would you be able to do it for me? Because I want to know, so I don't want to have to go through the same thing again.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
need to do the math then. Yeah. So basically, you just take your basically that you take your life path number and you add the same number again. And then kind of in between you will have like it's easier for me to show you like it's the star that you kind of draw, and in the lower part of the star that will show up. And it's calculated. Yeah, there's a specific formula. I can't explain it like in a couple of words, but I will be able to calculate that for you. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
if you're
absolutely. But
interested.
that's interesting that you should say that. I think, if you put together some sort of diagram with regards to that, and then I can always use it as to put it over the conversation. So just people can see that visually. Because I think,
Yeah,
this is something that's quite new and that a lot of the people watching this podcast won't have seen before. So okay, so,
yeah.
so if we moved into the number two then, the number two are peacemakers, usually, but they can they ever avoid being indecisive?
They can. Again, it's the negative and the positive scenarios. So the positive scenarios as being the collaborator, the communicator, the negotiator, someone who finds middle grounds with everyone, who can understand other people, who are also good listeners. The bad scenario is codependency, when you not only want to be with other people and communicate, but you need and you can't really make any decisions without anyone else, approving those. That will be the negative scenario. So if you know that those are the challenges that you're supposed to master and go through, then you can, decide for yourself to work on that, to be alone with your thoughts, like to practice solitude and being confident in that, practice, I don't know, your authenticity and find what makes you, you, where you can decide things for yourself and not check in with other people all the time. These are the little kind of things and practices that you can do with these energies. But yeah, I think that twos are really warm people in general. They are really good collaborators and communicators. They are team players in business as well. They will definitely seek for other people to work with.
Mm, that's beautiful. I like the twos as well, actually. That's my karma is the two. So it's interesting because I struggle with collaborations. But when I get them right, I actually really enjoy it. So it's fascinating that you say that when we're living in the positive or negative aspects of those numbers. So how do you fall into the negative aspect of the number? Is it just when you're living negatively, like when you're down in the dumps or you're depressed or something? Is that when those characteristics display as personality traits?
I think then when you're born with certain energies, you chose them. So you chose those energies for yourself on a higher level. You sit down with your soul family and you decide like what are the lessons that I'm gonna go through? What do I need for my soul to grow, and things like that. So and you kind of pre-plan those energies for yourself. And if you think that you need to learn, I don't know, self-love, you would incarnate in sixth energy. If you think that that was a problem in previous incarnation where you let your partner get the best of you, and you didn't love yourself enough to, stand up for yourself, this is how it's going to show up in your numbers. So it's not just randomly falling into depression or something like that. There is a pattern that you can, see through numbers, and if you know what each number means, again, like what are the strengths or the challenges of a certain number, then you can just decide that I'm going to live the good scenarios of this number, and I know that these are my strengths, and I'm going to live my life to the best that I can and get the most out of this energy.
Yeah, I
And there
love that.
definitely, sorry, definitely, I think that there's going to be also certain events in your life and people in your life that are going to test you on these energies. So again, it's not random. We assign certain people to ourselves, like karmic partners and friends and neighbors, even that were supposed to maybe be there in a certain point in your life, just to have that one phrase that makes you think about something really deeply, or they were in your life for a longer period of life to kind of, shift your point of view or your belief systems, to understand something or to go through different lessons.
Okay, so what you said there is like it's almost like a matter of choice whether you choose to live in the positive or negative
Yes,
aspects of those numbers. So it's by
yes,
becoming self-aware and being aware of their
yes,
frequencies, that's when you can make better decisions for yourself. But I suppose,
exactly.
you can't always, sort of remember the soul contracts and the decisions that you made with bringing certain people into your life to trigger, and
Yeah.
certain feelings. How do you recognize if somebody has come into your life that is almost like a plant to help you
Mhm.
move out of the negative aspects of a certain number trait?
Yeah, so I think that the more you pay attention, the more aware you become, that it's easier to denote these things and to notice them. But also, if you look at the repeating patterns, like you can, cut cords with some toxic people in your life and just run away from them. But other people will come, similar people will come to your life until you learn the lesson. You can't escape that. So if you have a repeating pattern in relationship, like, oh, why am I always getting this kind of people in my life? Um, Start with that. Like, try to zoom out and see what is the lesson that you learned from these relationship, or from this toxic boss, or workplace or whatever. Like, what is it that you keep doing, the same way? If you want to change something in life, you can't expect that to change if you keep doing the same things. So you are supposed to kind of zoom out and see what is the repeating pattern here? What is it that I'm not seeing and not learning? And keep repeating the same mistake. And as soon as you voice that out loud, when you kind of, okay, I met this person because I was supposed to learn this and that. That changes completely. You kind of integrate the lesson again, on an energetic level, and you start attracting different people into your life and different situations that are going to test you on different things. And this is how you continue your journey on growth and, learning other energies and not going in the circle to learn the same thing.
So, what types of people then would come in to test a 33 like you? Would it be the narcissist, people with narcissistic personality disorder then, if it's about you learning self-love? Will it be people that almost like take advantage of your loving nature and then send you into the role of the victim? Would that be like a typical scenario for a 33?
It can be, but again, if that, because every number has like several scenarios, it's not just that. With self-love, I guess I had to learn to love myself and accept my body, accept myself, like not to change anything too much, but like, really accept myself and express myself. Because again, like, I don't think it was a random decision to be born in Latvia, where everything is super gray. I love my country, but in wintertime, it's so gray and I crave colors. I'm always like, exploding with colors. And my mom would always kind of, try and kind of, stop me, like, why are you wearing turquoise pants in a wintertime? Like, exactly that's why, because everything is gray, everything is like monochrome. And it's not because I want to stand out. I just want that celebration of color for myself. And I felt really odd, with all of that. And now when I live in Spain, that's celebrated there. And I feel like, I found my crowd. But in terms of people that I met, again, even with all of the grayness that I experienced weather-wise, I've always met very colorful people. And I think that it's again the way you attract people with your energy. And for me, the main lesson was to understand that I have to be authentic, and whatever I feel um, should not be, affected by opinions of other people. So for 33, I guess it's a bit more complicated because some people think that it's easier because you know so much and so many things, resonate to you. But it can be confusing, to find your place with other people because other people, they don't really understand this. And I think where I found my crowd was either nines, who are quite deep, or master numbers. My husband is a master number. My previous husband was a master number. And my best friends are master numbers. And I didn't kind of, even know that on my journey. Now that I look at their numbers, knowing all the things that I know, I see like, okay, there's a pattern. Like it's no coincidence that we, attracted each other. So I guess that.
Yeah, I love that. And it's interesting because, if you look at the way the six is made up from number 33,
Yes.
it's two threes, which is creative
Yes.
and social. So,
Yes.
but why do threes sometimes struggle with focus?
Oh, it's like ADHD thing, it can be superpower. I do have ADHD as well, so I know it can be a superpower if you know, again, your strength. But also you have to know your challenges to be able to work with yourself. So with three, it's the same. Like you have so much going on creatively, emotionally. Like you are such a giver as well. Like you want to talk nonstop. You can be that life of a party. But again, if there's no party, you have to think how can you contain your energy and save it for later and to direct it in a way that is going to be useful for you and it's not going to destroy anything on its way. So I think that's that, like knowing yourself better can help you direct your energies better to have better outcomes.
Yeah, of course. And I've often found, the creativity that's associated with both the number six and the double three, is huge,
Yes.
So this often means that those people will go into the doldrums, might get quite depressed because that's where they get the material for their creative project. So has that been another challenge that you've had to come up against as well? Have you been through
Um,
like the dark night of the soul?
I used to work with lyrics. Like I love writing lyrics for other people and for my songs as well sometimes. So and when I had to write lyrics like for someone else, I always kind of went into this mindset of that person and kind of trying to understand like their world. And to find your muse, it's always interesting. Like if you do that for work, a lot of the times you have to trick yourself, into different, creative states. And obviously, it's easier to create when you are going through something big. And for me, I found it harder to write something meaningful when I'm just happy and, in my good place, emotionally. But the more I practice it, the more I found it, I found ways how to draw that, drive and creation and passion. Also to write about like good things because you can't be always just pouring out the negative, or the pain and things like that. Because I think that people who listen to the music or who look at the art piece, something creative, they get that energy. And I would never want to create something that would make people suffer or feel bad. It's like, bringing them into that negative state. So I think about that whenever I create something. I try to bring the positive message or uplifting message, and so far I think I've succeeded. And yeah, whenever I hear music as well, I can't not hear the lyrics. So if I hear like a bad message, I really don't listen to it. I don't like it because I think that there are already enough challenges in life that can bring you down. And if you choose consciously to listen to that kind of music or, to bring yourself down, it's just like, yeah, not helpful.
I can understand that with the threes. Yeah, a lot of the threes that I've ever known have needed to take quite a lot of space and time away from people around them so that they can reconnect with themselves. And the three has got that great potential of sociability and joy and being the life and soul of the party, but also, in the shadow, it wants to retreat away and just be alone and try and process all of that sort of inner
It's a
world
little
stuff.
bit like nine energy when they want to hermit,
Yeah.
like to birth some kind of knowledge. The reason is different, you know. So for threes, it's to recharge their social battery purely, you know. For nines, it's to birth some kind of knowledge or to gather their energy to be able to heal and help others, you know. So it's a little bit different reason behind it. And the biggest, I guess, mistake and the negative scenario for threes and nines would be to isolate themselves completely and go into that isolation for good, because it's quite often the case with nines, especially not 27s. But yeah, with nines, it's really the case when they want to isolate themselves and they just don't go back to society after they hermit or you know, it was always supposed to be like you go into that hermit mode for a while and then you come back, you know, to people because people need you. And
Yeah. Yeah, that's
same with
actually,
threes.
yeah, I can identify with that a lot because I've turned into a bit of a hermit as I've got older, but I'm still, attached to the outside world. Like I can go back into it and I'll just be normal again. But I find
I
that I
mean, you're
need less and
doing
less.
podcast. That's already a service, you know, that's already, you know, you're not isolated.
No, no, I suppose not. Yeah, it's more networking though, isn't it? From a distance. I just think I get very tired when I when I'm around people too much. I feel
Yeah.
my energy really getting quite depleted. So I'm like, I need to be over here and I can still be sociable, but I don't need to, I don't need to have, I don't have to feel it, I don't have to be
You have
boots
to
on the
find
ground or anything.
your form, you know, the because with nines it's not about the crowd, the bigger the better, you know. For threes it's like that. The bigger the crowd, the better. They need like world stage, you know, like global scale. With nines it's like it's quality over quantity. And I have my proven people, you know, the you know, people who understand me and like the little group. And I'm comfortable with them. That's the nine kind of, you know, vibe. Or I do communication on my own terms, you know, when I want it and how I want it. So that's kind of, you know, if you know yourself, then again, you can regulate that and, you know, that's going to work for you.
Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant. I love that. So what about the number five then? They crave freedom, don't they? But how
Yeah.
can they manage restlessness without chaos?
Again, that's I think that five is again, they are wise. They have this in karmic numerology, they are the wise man who is a mentor and mentee at the same time. They have accumulated great knowledge about traditional ways, and they have come to study everything that is non-traditional. That's why they have this drive to learn something new, to travel, to be restless, you know, in a sense, to kind of not be bored, basically. And that's for there for a reason, for them to explore what else is out there. And it's not because they need to oppose that traditional knowledge, they need to build on top of it. So by traveling, it's the easiest way to get to know other cultures, other languages, other, you know, everything. Then yeah, to get to know what else is out there and to build on top of that. So if they know their purpose, then it's easier again to contain it. But again, like you can go into the negative scenario of being just like hectic in life and not succeed in anything because you're just not finishing anything. You start a lot of the things. It's the ADHD of the numbers. So basically
It
kind of
is the
starting
ADHD of
everything.
them. I love that.
Yeah.
So
So
how would a 14-5 differ from a 23-5?
oh, 14 is actually more has more self-control because of that four energy. Four is all about stability and kind of long-term goals and you know having that home is super important. So they are not so they are more measured, I would say, in their decisions. They are not that emotional. They still have in the basis of 14 energy, you will have that five energy. It's still going to drive you to travel and to get to know things and explore, but it's going to be more measured decisions, more stable, and you know, kind of, you know, yeah, it's temperance in karmic numerology, energy of temperance, so kind of
Yeah.
balancing.
Yeah, and the 23-5, I guess, based around that, it would be they again would probably prefer to travel in a partnership and they want
Yeah.
expansion.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly like that. It's craving other people, and because of three energy as well, like you need a world stage and a lot of people, groups of people, and two makes you a collaborator again, like partnerships. So yeah, and five again, like just traveling and getting to know different things and cultures. And I guess in also in relationship that shows up a lot of 23s, they have partners who are from different race, from different country, from different background. Yeah.
Mm. So can someone then resonate with multiple numbers at once, and how would that show up in their lives?
So definitely, because again, we have different stages in life where we are supposed to focus on certain things. So as I said, until age of 25, you would be your personality number, your day that you were born mostly. Then you have spirituality number, which is the month that you were born. And that is your kind of task before your ancestors. So something that you agreed with your soul family to help them with some kind of task. And in return, they guide you through synchronicities and help you with opportunities in life. Every month would represent a certain task. And then your year that you were born, when you reduce it to a single digit number or until the 22, is your business, like representing your career, your business, talents, and energies that you can use for business. Then your life path number, as I said, that's mostly about your relationship. Then you can also calculate your health number, which becomes active after 35 years old, more or less, depending on how you work with your other energies. So if you're going into the wrong direction, let's say in business, in your career, your health will start to suffer and you will see like the first kind of, ring, rings, that pay attention, you're doing something wrong in life. Just stop and think, you know. Same with relationship. If you are allowing something that is not supposed to be there, or you're living the bad scenario of your energies, again, like your health will suffer. And yeah, there are things like that show up in different age and in different area of life. So you can resonate to different numbers at certain age, first of all, and then at the same time, now knowing my numbers, I see where my six is showing up, where my 17 energy is showing up. Like again, it's knowing yourself and kind of, recognizing and being aware.
Yeah, because that's obviously really predictive of your future as well, isn't it then? So you can kind of see what's coming up. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, because there are also ways how you can calculate your energies, not only for your personal year, but also kind of see your dynamics of like relationship or of your business or like creative energies and things like that. So um, you can kind of predict the energies that's going to be conducive to something, but at the same time, it's your choice. And I always kind of explain that um, it's like a hallway. You have a theme in life, that's your hallway. And there's going to be like different pit stops, checkpoints. And those are like pivotal moments in life. How you get to those checkpoints, it's your free will. So it's not like you pre-plan those checkpoints and the theme, but how you go through that hallway, you can be running, you can be crawling, you can be going backwards, you can stop and then you go, or you will be dragged by your foot with your face down by the universe if you don't move for too long. So this is when we experience those like, terrible events in life where like, why is everything crumbling down? Like, what's happening? Like, obviously you're not paying attention what you should be doing. So yeah, you will definitely reach those checkpoints. But again, those can be delayed or those can be, you can get to those sooner. It's your choice. That's your free will, how you get there and when.
That's brilliant. You've explained that really, really well. And that, actually, I buy into all of that. It's something I believe in myself. So, all the calculations that you are revealing today are based around this form of numerology known as karmic numerology. Does it have a basis around Pythagorean numerology, or a different form of numerology? Where does it derive from?
Sorry, there was a technical issue. I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, of course. So the question is, that karmic numerology, is it derived from Pythagorean numerology, or is it derived from a different form of numerology? And then who developed it?
Yeah, so karmic numerology is not from Pythagorean. Pythagorean is just calculating your energies, how many ones, how many twos, and how many threes, and until nines you have. Karmic numerology is more about you can derive that from tarot because of the archetypes, but again, it looks deeper. It looks into your past lives and into karmic tales and everything, which is not related to tarot at all. So it's a mix of different teachings. And I often get questions about what do you call it? Oh, I forgot the name, but anyways, it's also a bigger star of numbers, but for me, I think it's overcomplicated and unnecessarily so. So I usually combine different methodologies, and I also channel, and I work with energies of light always because I've seen some yeah, spiritual people who work with whatever energies they can get, and they don't even check if those are the good energies. Sometimes there can be entities attached and you are channeling, messages that can be skewed. So whenever I channel, I always make sure that I channel, through the energies of light, and I don't share anything that I haven't been checking on myself. So, um, yeah, all of the teachings that I have combined uh, come from personal experience and something that I have tested not only on myself but on quite a bit of my family members as well. So something that I'm sure that works and that I stand by. So it's not just one teaching. It's a lot of things combined throughout the years.
Yeah, that's great. So you're extracting information from not only different forms of numerology, but archetypes and maybe human
Yes.
design and the gene keys.
Yes.
And
Humans I was looking for.
I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
human design.
Yeah.
Um, okay, then. So the karmic numerology, then, in that sense, is something that was created or developed from you. It wasn't something that was passed down to you from a teaching that you learned through a book or a school or anything. There we go. Have we got a technical glitch again?
Yeah, the sound is kind of, disappearing. So half of the things I don't hear. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, right. Okay. So the question is with regards to um, karmic numerology, this is
Yeah.
then something that you've developed yourself. It's your own signature process, not something that you've learned through a school or a book or anything.
Yeah, I have been studying Karmic Star, which is not developed by me. It's by Kristina Igizareva from, I believe she's from Armenia. I do speak several languages, so that one was in Russian language, and I don't find any English versions of it for now. That's why I'm now in the middle of writing a book, combining the teachings that I have studied myself and added on top of that something that I channel to create a new kind of a thing that combines those teachings. So yeah, and I'm writing in English because I see that there's limited, choice of numerology books. It's usually either yeah, either classical numerology or human design, but I haven't seen anything around karmic numerology so far.
No, me neither, actually. No, it's great that you've gone into that in a very specific and directed way. So congratulations. I wish you well on that book. That sounds absolutely
Thank
amazing.
you.
And I'm sure loads of people be interested in reading it because I do think numerology is evolving. There's another girl actually that I speak to on the numerology show called Catherine Kinney, and she does cosmic numerology. And
Mm,
she's a fascinating source of information as well. And again, it's combining numerology with cosmology, and
mm,
it's taking numerology into a new era, I think. And
yeah.
it's wonderful that you're such a pioneer in that sort of process. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, okay, so why do some numbers seem to attract certain life themes like love or wealth or personal growth? Why is that?
Again, these are the things that you choose for yourself to go through. And eight energy, we all know, is all about power and karma and money. But if you look at the shape of eight, it's two parts. So the lower part of it represents material world, and the upper part represents the spiritual world. And a lot of the times, eight gets stuck in purely money making or material world. And usually they lose it all. And that's their kind of lesson to see that they are supposed to combine the spiritual knowledge and the material in the infinite flow. And this is how the material kind of, abundance comes to them if they learn how to combine that. Usually they are really successful at some point and then something happens. It's universe kind of redirecting their route, to kind of, look at the spiritual side of things as well. Don't go fixated, on money. And same with other numbers, like they all have something that they are strong at. But again, there are challenges and lessons to be learned. And yeah, if you go through those successfully, then you get bonuses, so to say, and yeah, treats.
It's interesting, yeah, because I also look at the pyramids in Pythagorean numerology just to see what numbers are there for those, your peak years of maturity. And my first two peaks were eights. And
Yeah,
so that like from the age of 27 until I was, what's that, 18 years later, I was in the that's when I was in corporate IT
yeah,
recruitment and stuff. And so I made loads of money, but then I obviously wasn't combining my spiritual stuff into it. So most of it sort of just
yeah,
slipped through my fingers. And it wasn't actually until I started living in alignment with my life path 9 that money just didn't even feature anymore. It was just like I've always got more than enough now. And
yeah,
it's ironic to think that by doing your soul work that you can actually feel more
yeah,
supported than you do when you
yeah,
thought like you were in the role of an eight, doing
yeah,
doing
yeah.
all that corporate nonsense.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that in different areas of life, the same number can mean slightly different thing. Like eight number, if you are business number eight, which is meaning that your year that you were born adds up to nine, eight. Um, Eights will get abundant if they share knowledge with other people how to earn money. So either they share that knowledge or they actually create workplaces. So if they help other people make money, this is how abundance comes to them, and not by directly making money. And this is something that they get wrong all the time. They think that if I work more, I get more, or if I kind of stick through this, corporate world, like I'm gonna make more money. Like for a while, that can work, but at some point, yeah, you're gonna experience something that's not gonna be pleasant, So
Interesting. So what have been the challenges that you've encountered then as an eight, like as a day number eight?
yes. So for me, my year adds up to six. So six is not like in business, it's different. So for six, it's important to love what you do. Again, there's this theme of love. So if you do something just because you have to, you will not make money and abundance will not come to you. So you absolutely have to be passionate about what you do. Also, sixes are good with beauty related industries, bringing beauty into this world. And that can be through talents, that can be through different things, that can look like being a brand ambassador for something, for your own brand. There are different scenarios how that can play out. So not everyone born in the same year is going to be the same career, because I get these questions a lot like, oh, does this mean that everyone born in this year will have the same, professional life? No, first of all, you choose the scenarios, the bad ones and the good ones. And then you have additional energies on top of that one energy, right? So you will have talents from your mother, from your father that they passed on to you, and that can be calculated as well. And then you have your past life mistake that you can see in specific area, in this case in career, something that you didn't get quite right. And that can work as a money block in this lifetime if you keep doing the same thing that you did previously.
Oh wow. Okay. So what so was there is there anything that you can share about what you went through as an eight? What came up for you?
For me, because I'm the specific type of eight, like 17 energy, they are usually very talented with different talents, multiple, and they are supposed to leader through that with that one energy, 1 and 7. So usually they are born in an environment that doubts them, doubts their talents. And this was the case with me. I've always been passionate about music and different things, creative things. And my parents would always kind of, force me into the direction of like, but this is not going to be sustainable for you. Like you have to, get an education in different area and things like that. And I did listen to them and I didn't go through like I didn't go for my creative side fully on. And when I had a choice, but I always made it work in parallel. So I had my time when I was working in a bank, and I remember writing lyrics and poetry on the side, and working with different musicians, and that fed my soul, and that kind of, I had that creative outlet, and I'm happy that I did that. So that was one of the journey that I took. But yeah, I can't help but wonder like what would have happened if I, had gone purely, in that direction.
It's interesting, isn't it? My husband's an eight. So he's a life path eight anyway, and he was
Yeah,
in banking and finance, and then he absolutely got to the end of his tether after doing that for about 9 years, and went into the
yeah.
travel industry, and and that was where really he started becoming the person that he is now. But it's interesting
Mhm.
because it's almost like at some point, you're going to have to sort of play out a scenario where you get tested. Do I really want to stay in that, or do I want to then
Yeah,
look at my other aspects of self,
yeah.
and be more of that instead. So
I can definitely support that because whenever I had those doubts, like what should I do now? Like, should I go for another corporate job or should I try once again in the creative field, And I would always have those signs and synchronicities lining up, like out of the blue, somebody reaches out like, oh, I need lyrics, for this song for Eurovision or something, can you help? Or like, different things that come out seemingly out of the blue, but those are not. Those are your karmically assigned people who will come to save you in the right moment. And if you are lucky enough to take that chance, if you're brave enough to take that chance, then you see how that unfolds later.
that's beautiful. Yeah, if you're brave enough to take that chance, then you'll see how it unfolds, and you can clearly see what an amazing support team that you've got, through following the breadcrumbs. Your 1, 2, and 3, your numerology has really transformed your life. And it's great to see that you're doing so well by doing something that you love so much and combining that amazing business acumen of the eight in there as well. So, for somebody who's just new to numerology and they've listened to what we've been talking about, and they're still umming and ahhing as to, how it can actually work and how it can be genuine and authentic. Is there anything that you want to share with those people that's going to encourage them to get a chart done for themselves, so that they can feel fulfilled, like we do?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, whenever you go and study your numbers and see how they translate in the things that you do in life, like if you just take a certain area of your life and if you're authentically, honest with yourself, like, am I happy in this area of life? Start with the ones that you're not happy, and then do the chart in that area and see like what are the scenarios that you can be working on, and it definitely will give you some answers and clarity. Sometimes it's just a small message like, don't sacrifice yourself. Don't go overboard. Don't go into extremes, or love yourself more. Pay attention how you feel more. Do you love what you do? These are the questions that help you understand like where you're going and if it's working out for you. So I'm sure that those are a lot of the times those are the questions that people get stuck on, and and literally when they feel stuck in life, it's usually the problem of seven. If you feel stuck in life, try and study something new. This is going to get you out of any emotional pit, financial pit, whatever pit you are in. That will help you to get you out of there and move things forward for yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm a day number 7. That's exactly how I got myself out of my corporate rut. Is I started studying things that were of interest to me, and then before you know it, your energy changes and new
Yeah,
opportunities start presenting themselves. So
exactly.
that's
Exactly.
wonderful.
This is how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, it's how it works, isn't it? Well, that was amazing. So where can people find you, Diana, if they've loved this conversation, like, oh, this girl knows what she's talking about, then where do they find you?
So my main channel is TikTok. So Diana.noexcuses. This is my handle. I also have profile on Instagram, but it's mainly for personal reasons. And yeah, you can email me on diana.noexcuses at gmail.com. And yeah, I have also courses coming up that I want to pass my knowledge to people, the ones who want to learn more, like basic things, but also practical numerology, where you can use numbers on a daily basis to understand your energies of the day, of the month, of the year. To also to kind of, if you need a specific date, like a wedding date or an important event, a business pitch or launch of a project, like something like that. Also, it's important to calculate your energies. That can help.
That's so cool. I love it. Well, I'm going to be reaching out to you to find out how I died in the last life. That's what I want to know.
Definitely, you're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, well, brilliant. Well, it's been so nice to meet you. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today on the Numerology Show. We really genuinely appreciate it. So, yeah, so remember, whether you're a pure nine, a karmic 27, or a master 22, or a 33, your numbers are your personal guide posts. If you've loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment and share it with a fellow number enthusiast. Until next time, keep counting your blessings and let your numbers light the way. Bye for now.